ended up doing CPR for an extensive period of time on a 1-month-old baby, and ended up not being able to successfully resuscitate the baby. And shortly thereafter, a friend of mine died, and while I was at his funeral, I was collected and feeling okay. And then I heard a baby cry, and that was the first time I'd heard a baby cry since doing the CPR thing. As soon as that baby started crying, like I just started crying. To this day, when I see a baby, that's the first thing I think of every time I see a baby.
Fire smoke, I would say, would be one of them. It's almost like an internal panic of, I need to find this fire where it's at, and I need to make sure that there's nobody in there. It feels as if time slows down, that my body's like, you can't make any more mistakes or errors or no flaws or anything like that.
Or quick to be angry. I was very short-tempered. I didn't realize at first that anything was wrong. In incidences where you should be losing your mind, I was always calm and everything was fine. But the littlest thing, like the little old lady that walks out of Walmart and doesn't look both ways when you're driving, would just set me off.
It was around 2011, I believe, and I can still hear the call today. It was harvest time, and they had a toddler, their only child at the time, and had walked out, and the father thought the child was still in the house, and he backed over his son. And I was the first one there. To this day, the kid screaming brings back unbelievably haunting. It just plays over my mind. It takes me quite a while to get back out of it.
It's one of those moments that you're right back into that scene. I could tell you what every person in that house was wearing that day, where the articles of clothing were laying in the house. It's very overwhelming at times to try to be in those, because a lot of times it's the bigger calls that you try not to remember and try to push back. So when you're triggered by that, you're back into that worst call that you really don't want to resurface.
Each individual neuron looks just like a tree. You've got the roots system in the tree, you've got the branches, looks just like a neuron. And each individual neuron has anywhere between 20,000 and 50,000 branches. The branches, like an oak tree, naturally should prune and fall off when you have memories you don't need anymore, and others stay there for longer periods of time and actually grow stronger based on the context of the memory. When you have a traumatic experience, you basically are building more branches. It's called neuroplasticity, but when you build more branches in the hippocampus, that memory stays there, and it's difficult to get off your mind unless you're able to take away the emotional context that's around it.